Hey guys, welcome back to another snapshot video. From my perspective, today's snapshot is really interesting because it allows us to make a new type of oak log farm. You technically no longer need to place saplings because you can bone meal the azalea bushes now. So you can create those by bone mealing moss. Then you just need to apply bone meal, for example, with a dispenser, and it would grow into a tree. So in order to make a fully automatic tree farm, there's a lot of steps involved. So you need to bone meal a moss block first, and then you need to be lucky to get the flowering azalea or normal azalea on top. This is really not guaranteed. Most cases, you either get nothing, grass, or the moss carpet. Definitely takes a lot of tries until you finally get that. Let's see. Really not lucky here. I'm just gonna place one myself, so this is definitely a possibility to get that. And then you can bone meal this one. Also requires a couple of attempts, but now we have a tree. There's also a bit of a difficulty because they converted the moss into the rooted dirt block. So the next step for your tree farm would be to break the leaves now and remove the logs. It's also a bit difficult because the tree actually has branches usually. There we go. And we got logs here on the side, can generate all the way over here. So it will be rather difficult to get those logs out of the tree farm chamber. Then once everything is gone, you need to bone meal second piece of moss to convert the first one back. So let's put in some bone meal here. And then we got moss over here again. And then you can, probably even just bone meal this one instead. But also spread to the side. Maybe you don't even need that dispenser here. Yeah, you can fully automate this. And get a fully automatic log farm in case you blow up the logs with TNT, for example. Another thing that should be possible is to make a rooted dirt block farm now, in case you need those blocks for decoration. So the way you do it is obviously convert the moss into that type of block, and then you push it out with a piston to prevent it from converting back into moss. And then you can later blow those blocks up with TNT. You don't need to select mine them. They would drop as a rooted dirt item. There we go. Got more rooted dirt now. As a smaller noteworthy change in the snapshot, sand and gravel will no longer be converted into moss by milling a surrounding moss block. Stone and deep slate like before, and grass blocks will be converted into moss. Let's continue with farmable items. The pointed dripstone is also renewable. It's an interesting new mechanic. If you attach the pointed dripstone on the underside of a dripstone block and have a water source block on top, so it needs to be a water source, not just flowing water, then there is a small chance that the pointed dripstone will grow. The process is very slow. I'm gonna speed up the game, or just a random tick speed actually, by a factor of 1000, and then we should be able to see this. In case the ground is not further away than 10 blocks, then also stalagmites at the bottom will form and also grow upwards. So you can see here, the floor is more than 10 blocks away, only the stalactites would grow. And I think the maximum length would be 7 blocks. So quite some time has passed, and the stalactites reached the maximum length. In real time, it's definitely more than 24 hours to get to this stage. According to patch notes, they're supposed to be 7 blocks long at most, but we can count it ourselves. So we get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 blocks long stalactites. It's also quite interesting, before the stalactites reached their final length, also stalagmites at the bottom were forming. So distance was less than 10 blocks, probably from the tip of the stalactites, which enabled the ones at the bottom to grow. But once those reached their full length, then also the growth of the stalagmites at the bottom would stop. So here, we got more growing. Since even the tip is further away than 10 blocks, no stalagmite at all would grow at the bottom. The stalactites also won't grow into any fluids, and the stalagmites won't form if there's any water at the bottom. So I had to do it. Here's a simple pointed dripstone farm. So also curious if it's beneficial to harvest both the stalagmites and the stalactites. So this is the farm that only harvest stalactites. Got 2 stacks so far. Let's quickly compare the results of the other farm where we got twice as much. Okay, this is pretty clear. It's definitely beneficial to try to harvest both. So here's the setup for the stalactites. Just basically detecting the pointed dripstone block with an observer, and the block state would change. So here the thickness would change if it grows. That's why we can detect the difference with the observer, and then we just need to power the piston below with QC. We need the node block to update everything below. And at the bottom, it's similar. Just a simple setup now because I wanted to test this. Alright, so this is quite a nice farm. This could be interesting probably for Skyblock to get more pointed dripstone in order to make a lava farm. And of course you can craft the dripstone blocks out of pointed dripstone. So in case I need a lot of decoration blocks, then probably need to make a farm like this one here. Next, let's take a look at some terrain changes. I was kind of surprised to see this, because Mojang announced last week they're gonna split up the 1.17 update. There will be a summer release where all the new blocks and mobs will be added, and a winter release with all the terrain changes. So Mojang is still working on a winter release at the same time. You can also check out their progress by downloading a data pack. So I did that, and we got a world again with the new world height, all the deep underground terrain. I removed all the stone and deep slate so we can check out the new ore generation. Copper and iron ore will generate in new veins now, so we can check it out. The copper ore will generate in between a lot of andesite. So here we got one of those copper veins. Here's another one. So in case you run into andesite, it's probably worth digging around a little bit to check if there's copper nearby. And one more change to report on with the new world generation. The new aquifers have a chance to be filled with lava instead of water now. So you could run into a very large lava lake in overworld now. Something this scale could only find in the nether before. In case you need to remove all of this could be quite annoying. But the good news is I had to fly around for quite some time to find one of those. The changes with the veins do not apply to the normal snapshot and the summer release, where we still have the normal terrain generation. So what was noteworthy is, according to patch notes, you're also supposed to find deep slate coal ore between the deep slate, but apparently this was not fixed. So there's still the normal stone ores instead of the coal deep slate ores. Speaking of bug fixes that unfortunately don't really work in this snapshot, I was kind of excited to read about moss requires air above a replaceable block to spread being fixed. So the problem was that if you had any block that isn't air above a stone block, for example, and try to convert it into moss, it wouldn't work. So this was recognized as a bug, but the fix didn't really make it into a snapshot apparently. We need an air block for them to convert. So it'll be relevant for moss farms, and I'm still working on the movable block entity quarry that would convert stone into moss and then punch it out with pistons. So I was really excited to read about this, but probably have to wait until next week. And one more change that could be relevant in case you want to make map art. Glow Lichen has its own unique color on maps now. Previously it looked the same as vines. It was changed in the snapshot. So here on the left of the map you can see the new color. In case you make some kind of map art and this color is required, obviously you will need a lot of glow lichen, and you probably want to make a farm for that as well. Alright, that's all for today. Thanks guys for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.